Hello, this is Repo Dragon. I decided to record this gameplay of Final Fantasy VIII just off the whim. I wanted to show that it can be played on the Android phones, which is I am using the Samsung S10 Plus to play this. I am using a PlayStation 4 style controller. I have used the official PlayStation controllers. They work well, but I decided to buy one that has a turbo button. This is the Magoo, Maegoo, and it looks like a PlayStation 2 controller, only with the buttons of a Nintendo console. The problem with this is the home button does that. Instead of basically doing this. Luckily, I have other buttons mapped to bring up this main menu. I have tried everything I could to get the vibration function to activate, but it does not seem like it can on Android. So I am playing this just as a fun thing to play. I actually have 4 copies of this game. Technically 5 if you count this digital version. This version was not downloaded. I used a PlayStation or the PC version of this RetroArch, which is this whole entire system, RetroArch. They basically, I ripped my CDs into some file formats for this, what is it called? Emulator to read, and everything seems good except for that rumble feature. So the reason why I'm playing this is because nobody really plays this game or any games the way I do. It's been over 20 years since this game has come out or so. Possibly even 30 years if I close to that, maybe. I am 40 years old, so memory is kind of going. But when everybody does a let's play or a walkthrough or anything like that, they don't play it like they've played it 50 million times. Games like Minecraft, you have mods that you can change the way the gameplay is. You can add something that will allow you to attack from 1,000 blocks away, or you can teleport yourself, various other things. for console games, you don't really have that luxury. At most, you can play as one character but look like another character. But there's really not that much in way of modding the game to look different or to have a weapon that is more powerful than the most powerful weapon in the game. So I've played this game at least 100 times. So I am using cheats. You can see they say off and on, off and on, off, on, you know. So I'm not worried about dying or anything like that. I know how to play the game without dying. I know how to play the game so that I don't get status effects. You know, I've played it so many times. There's no point in me not having infinite health. So if you can make it through the game 3, 4, 5 times, you might as well just put on infinite health. You know, like this mini game that they have in there where you're hanging on this glider and you're punching and kicking this other character. Or fighting the dragon. This code you don't really need, but you might as well have it on. But if memory serves me, you don't want to turn this on until that mini game starts, otherwise it'll freeze your game. Infinite magic, you know. If the first thing you're going to do when you face a mob is draw magic from it. And it's just an endless draw. So you might as well just have infinite magic. Also like infinite gil. You know the game has a payment system for you in place. It's your seed level determines how much you get paid, and you get paid X amount of times during the game, or during, a day of playing the game, you might get paid, 15 times or so. So you basically have infinite money anyways. So you might as well have infinite gil. I mean, it's as simple as that. Draw 100 magic. Like I said, it's draw. You're gonna get 100 magic eventually. So you might as well just have all of it all at once. Refining items again. See, magic and ammo. If you're gonna have, I mean, it basically what it does is eliminates the grind. You have to grind to get all these magics and items and all that stuff. So you might as well just have them from square one. Especially if you've played the game so much that it's, pointless. This code here, I said I have as placeholder. The name for some reason is not sticking to the code. But this is basically have all the cards, all the playing cards in the game. Eventually, I could fight everybody, win against everybody, but it's a grind. You gotta grind to win everything. So you might as well just have it on and have all the cards. So that's basically that. Now, I did have a save on here, I believe. Yes. But I'm going to play a new game just to start it out. Now I'm going to fast forward through this. You might hear background noise. Again, I'm using my cell phone to play this game, so you might hear like my jacket, or you might hear traffic going by. I am sitting in my car while I'm playing this. I am a security officer at a place that makes electric vehicles. I'm not going to say specifics, but I'm also night shift. So until about 5:45, there's really nothing for me to do. I don't have to patrol. I just sit in front of this gate and wait for people to come in, and then I scan their temperature and check their ID and then let them through. That's all I do. I don't even have to check the people leaving. And right now there's literally nobody here. It's a Saturday. It is 2:48 in the morning on, like I said, Saturday, which is also on Sunday, February 7th. There. I may accidentally skip through the text, but people have already read all of these before. If you haven't seen this gameplay before, just pause it every time you see the text pop up. If they ever do fully, like, ground up, remake this game, the literally only thing that I would want them to change is the dialogue. Instead of having to just read everything, I would like voices. But other than that, the whole entire gameplay and everything, I want exactly the same. They changed Final Fantasy VII from this style gameplay to a hack and slash. All you do is run around pressing X on everything, or circle, or whatever the action button is. It's ridiculous. I do love love the transitions from Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII. They're like gameplay transitioning into CGI. It's almost like no other game does that. I think Final Fantasy X does it like once or twice, but they're not really... I don't know how to explain it. And that background noise was my soda, or really energy drink. And this is the point where I usually remember I need to go into config. I usually go controller customize, walking cancel, and menu. And even though it says L1, R1, L2, and R2 as NA, L2 is the only one that really has no function. I usually have my cursor on memory. A lot of people like to have it on initial, which means every time you go to attack or say use your magic or something, it goes back to attack. The active and wait, I don't think this really, in this game, I think it's broken. Even though you have it on active, you still have to wait. I think when it's active, it's supposed to actually move your status bar is supposed to, or your attack bar is supposed to charge even though the enemy is still attacking, or even though you're still attacking, and it doesn't. It stops, which is what wait is supposed to be, I believe. I'm not entirely sure on that. Scan, I usually go always because it's kind of like a free pause. Every time you scan a enemy, it will bring up a secondary screen that shows, or an alternate screen that shows, you know, their weakness and all that stuff. If you leave it on once, it'll still show you all the information of the enemy, but it doesn't bring up that extra screen. Well, when you put it on always, that extra screen is kind of like a pause, but it doesn't stop time. So like if you're in the fire cave, it won't stop the timer from counting down, but it will prevent the enemy from attacking. So I always do always. Camera movement, I see a lot of people, they put it up at 100, but I don't like the camera to move around too much, so I put that as 0. Battle speed I usually have as fast. Battle message, I usually actually bring it down 1. Field message, I usually have it on fast. I will keep it where it is, because it gives you guys a little bit of time to pause between chatting. Analog input, I usually bring up to fast. And vibration is on usually, but the problem is RetroArch right now is not sending the vibration function to the controller for some reason. So now we get to, oops. kind of hard to get into the terminal. You would think as soon as he stands up, you can press X and then he'd sit back down, but it doesn't work that way. So the first thing you want to do is go into this where the tutorial. You don't actually have to do the tutorial. This is just the initial. It gives you Quetzalcoatl and Shiva. And in my opinion, Shiva in this Final Fantasy is the best. Not necessarily the strongest or anything like that, but she is definitely the best looking in this. There are, I believe, the Shiva sisters or something in Final Fantasy 12 or 13, where they combine into a motorcycle. But I still think this one is the hottest. The one in Final Fantasy X is hot, but I'm kind of OCD with characters and how they dress. And if they're like Final Fantasy X really hits me hard. You have one pant leg longer than the other pant leg. You have a shoulder armor that is on one shoulder but not the other. It really irritates me. But not to the point where I, argue with the developers and say, hey, you need to fix this. I am that type of OCD where if I can fix it, I'll fix it. If I can't fix it, then I'm not going to fret that much over it. So, out of all the games, this one's my favorite, simply because most of the uniforms are nice and even. Now, the last couple playthroughs that I did, this interaction right here, she asks you if you could show her around, and the last couple I would go, don't have the time, and then she runs off into the classroom and you go on your own. I don't think this affects anything that has to do with your seed level, and I don't think there's an affection stat on this like there was with Final Fantasy VII, but it's always good to help somebody else. So then you talk to this guy, he gives you these cards. Unless you're an absolute genius at playing this card game, you do not want to battle that guy right off the bat. The thing I wish this game had was, okay, you have this directory. It will take you to that specific area that you want to go. However, let's say you're at the dormitory and you want to go to the front gate. You can't just simply skip to the front gate. You got to run all the way around like 2 or 3 screens, get to this area that has this, and then either hit the front and go up to it and hit the front gate, or run to the front gate. At each section, there should be a board that will allow you to fast track to this area. Places that I see people doing their runs before they go to the library and the cafeteria. Now, there's really nothing to do in the cafeteria except talk to essentially your enemy. But the library has a draw point, so you could draw from there. And then there's also a draw point on the way to the front gate. So you really don't want to skip that. So you want to actually run, like I'm doing here, to the front gate. Another thing you're going to want to do, which I forgot to do, is actually junction one of these. I believe Shiva is the one that you want the Squall to have, but don't know. Don't remember. The other thing you want to do, you want to go in here and have them learn the refining skills as soon as possible. Now, I am using a cheat that allows me to basically learn the abilities almost instantly. And I already know how to do that. I see a lot of people, they do this and have Queesis and Squall switched here. I don't know if that really does anything. There's not, like, in Final Fantasy, you select the person again and it puts them in, like, defensive or in the back, while, clicking on them once or leaving them the way they are puts them in the forward. Again, there are a lot of things that you could be doing. First thing I'm going to do is run over to these mountains. And if you go over to these mountains, there's these things. downside to having the GFs learn the moves almost instantly is every single time you fight, you got to go back into this and see it's set to summon magic. And you don't want that. There's one thing that's in here that oh, whoa! Wait a minute. I have never been attacked by a T-Rex in here. Yeah, I'm not gonna win. Status bars should be moving. 4,500 to go. Okay. See, at this point, I'd be using a lot of cures and a lot of potions. Doesn't make any sense. This is going to go a lot longer than definitely took a lot longer than it should have. There's one mob that's in here that I'm looking for, and I hope I get it, the item at the end right away. Yep, there he is. Big fat guy. status affected me for something. Spiderweb, there we go. Looking exactly to get that. Alright, we're going to have to pause here.